In the world of geopolitics, transparency is a myth, and timing is the only truth that matters. When an unelected interim government rushes to sign a binding trade pact with a global superpower just 72 hours before a general election, it is not an economic decision. It is a desperate bid for survival. On February 9th, the United States and Bangladesh will sign a deal shrouded in total secrecy. They have literally signed a non-disclosure agreement to keep the terms hidden from the public. This is not normal diplomacy. This is a geopolitical ambush, and the target might just be India. Let us strip away the diplomatic pleasantries and look at the raw power dynamics at play here. The timing of this deal is suspicious, to say the least. Bangladesh goes to the polls on February 12th. Why would Washington, the self-proclaimed champion of democracy, choose to sign a major long-term pact with a caretaker administration just 3 days before the people cast their votes? The answer lies in the concept of leverage. The United States knows that the interim government, led by Mohammad Yunus, is desperate. The Bangladeshi economy is fragile. Their textile industry, which is the bloodline of their nation, is facing an existential threat. And the threat, ironically, is India. Just last week, India secured a massive victory with the United States, negotiating a tariff reduction on Indian exports down to 18%. This was a masterstroke by New Delhi. It made Indian textiles competitive again in the American market. Dhaka panicked. They realized that if India captures the US market, Bangladesh's economy collapses. So they rushed to Washington. They begged for parity. And the United States, ever the opportunist, saw an opening. They are offering Bangladesh a tariff cut to 15%, but in exchange for what? That is where the non-disclosure agreement comes in. In the world of realpolitik, you do not get a discount without selling a part of your soul. The reports suggest Washington is demanding increased military sales, access to energy corridors, and a strategic pivot away from China. They are locking the next government into a deal they did not negotiate. This is what we call a fait accompli. Now, I want you to visualize the map of the Bay of Bengal. Close your eyes and picture the coastline. You have India on the left, Myanmar on the right, and squeezed right in the middle, acting as a funnel to the ocean, is Bangladesh. For the United States, this geography is prime real estate. If you control the trade policy of Bangladesh, you effectively gain a surveillance post on India's eastern flank and a choke point for China's access to the Indian Ocean. This secret pact is likely about securing maritime access. Washington is not interested in buying more t-shirts from Dhaka. They are interested in where those t-shirts ship from. They want access to ports like Chittagong and Matarbari. By signing this deal now, with a weak interim government, they are bypassing the messy democratic process and securing their foothold in South Asia before a new, potentially pro-India or pro-China government takes power. This brings us to the breathtaking hypocrisy on display. The interim government in Dhaka came to power promising absolute transparency. They criticized the previous regime for secret dealings. Yet, here they are, signing an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement for a national trade policy. You sign NDAs for corporate mergers, not for the destiny of a nation. And look at the statements coming from their leadership. The Foreign Affairs Advisor, Tauheed Hussain, recently admitted that relations with India are, and I quote, not entirely smooth. He admitted they have stalled. At the same time, the Jamaat-e-Islami chief, Shafiqur Rahman, gave a bizarre response when asked about ties with India. He pointed to glittering lights and called the relationship colorful. This is evasion. It is a double game. They are keeping India engaged with vague rhetoric while signing hard contracts with the Americans behind India's back. They are trying to balance the giant next door by inviting the giant from across the ocean. So, is India the real target? In a way, yes, but not militarily. This is an economic containment strategy. The United States plays a ruthless game. On one hand, they give India a tariff cut to 18% to keep New Delhi happy and aligned against China. On the other hand, they offer Bangladesh a cut to 15% to ensure Dhaka does not become fully dependent on India. They are playing both sides of the border. They want India to be strong enough to counter China, but not strong enough to dominate the neighborhood. They want a dependent Bangladesh, not an Indian satellite. So, what is the strategic lesson for India here? How does New Delhi respond to this encirclement? The Indian government's response to the Lok Sabha was classic diplomatic realism. They stated that India's relationship with Bangladesh is independent of third countries. Translated from diplomatic speak, this means we know what you're doing with the Americans, but you still need us to survive. India must understand that it cannot rely on the loyalty of its neighbors. Loyalty in geopolitics is a rental product, and the Americans are currently the highest bidders. India's strategy must be one of ruthless self-interest or strategic autonomy. India has done the right thing by focusing on its own trade deal with the US first. Securing that 18% tariff rate was vital. It protects Indian manufacturing regardless of what Dhaka does. Secondly, India holds the ultimate trump card: geography. No matter what secret pact Bangladesh signs with Washington, they cannot change their latitude and longitude. They are surrounded on three sides by India. Their rivers flow through India. Their electricity comes from India. Their transit to Nepal and Bhutan goes through India. A trade deal with the US might give them cheaper tariffs, but it cannot give them food security or energy security. Only India can do that. New Delhi should not panic over this secret pact. Instead, it should accelerate its own infrastructure projects. The lesson here is that India needs to build its own supply chains that are immune to the political mood swings in Dhaka. If Bangladesh wants to play the American card, let them. History shows that American attention spans are short. When the political winds change in Washington, Dhaka will find itself alone again, and India will still be there on the map. The best response to a neighbor playing a double game is not anger, it is indifference. India must continue its rise, continue its economic expansion, and let the gravity of its market eventually pull Bangladesh back into its orbit. You can sign a deal with a distant superpower, but you have to live with your neighbor. Now, to test your understanding of the region we just analyzed, let us do a quick quiz. We talked about the geography that binds these two nations. India and Bangladesh share one of the longest land borders in the world. Here's your question. How many Indian states share a border with Bangladesh? Is it A, 3, B, 4, C, 5, or D, 6? Think about the map. Go from West Bengal and move east. Let me know your answer in the comments below. In geopolitics, there are no permanent friends, only permanent interests. Bangladesh is securing theirs, India must secure ours. Thank you for listening.